Hi, everybody. I hope you're all well, safe, and happy. This week will be a busy one. Tomorrow, my grandson will be writing his most dreaded paper, the long mathematics one. I have set aside a 2 hour revision class, followed by this dreaded 2 hour paper. Then I have to mark the papers and start submitting marks for the term papers. File everything and start winding up the term. Make sure everything is marked and filed, get reports in, blah, blah, blah. Because we are homeschooling but still registered with the Department of Education, we can get an inspection anytime and without warning. With the last inspection, we received a phone call from the inspector from outside our front door. So, yes, it can be stressful if all your paperwork is not in place, and I don't take well to stress. On Tuesday, my daughter has her post-op visit to the specialist and surgeon, which means we'll be away for most of the day, as it is in 2 towns away from us. I thus decided to put off the photo montage I promised until, say, Monday, because I will have less time available for a proper investigative video. However, the good news is that as from Thursday this week, school will be done for almost 3 weeks. So if nothing else crops up, I will have lots of time for long chats and deep dives. In today's video, I have a couple of interesting things I want to talk to you about, but I'll also get to the Harkles towards the end, so hang in there for me, okay? We know by now that Princess Eugenie, her husband Jack, and baby August are moving to Portugal because Jack got a job to promote a new property development in Portugal. Well, one of my subscribers brought me a piece of interesting news. A couple of days ago, the Portuguese president announced that he'll go on a 2 day visit to Britain where he will attend the official opening of the Anglo-Portuguese school. The school actually opened in 2020, but due to COVID and lockdowns, there was no major fanfare. Interestingly enough, is that the Crown has agreed to fund the English side of the school, like teachers, salaries, etc., whereas Portugal will pay the salaries of the Portuguese teachers. Now, I'm just wondering whether this is some sort of trade-off whereby the Portuguese government will undertake to protect Eugenie and her family while the Crown contributes to the school. I think that's rather interesting, don't you? It also reminds us of the existence of the Treaty of Windsor, which was signed in 1386 in Windsor. The treaty is a diplomatic alliance signed between Portugal and England and is a treaty of peace, friendship, and confederation between John I of Portugal and Richard II, King of England at the time. The treaty was sealed by the marriage of John I to Philippa of Lancaster, daughter of John of Gaunt, first Duke of Lancaster. The treaty was renewed and re-signed in 1899. So there you have it, a piece of interesting history raising an interesting modern day question. Okay, and today I read that Jamaica has now officially started the process to become a parliamentary republic and replace the constitutional monarchy. Well, I have nothing to say about this, at least not much. I think most of you are familiar with my feelings and know that I think a constitutional monarch where the monarch does not reside in that particular country is just plain silly, frivolous, and unnecessary. The British monarchy is inherently British and absolutely should remain so. I fully support the royal house and monarchy in Britain, and find the Commonwealth of countries a medium for mutual discussion and interest. But that is it. The royal family are in a constant battle to stay in touch with the real world and ordinary folk in their own country. And in an ever changing world, I just cannot see how they can ever manage to stay in touch and keep up with those in multiple other countries. So let the constitutional monarchy in other countries go, but stay as part of the commonwealth of countries, and that is enough. My one issue with Charles has always been that he is too concerned with and spending too much money in other countries while his own country's issues are escalating. Again, I would like to remind you of my utter surprise when I learned that Britain's homeless figure was higher than that of my own country, an African country. So it's time for other countries to put on their big boy and girl boots and look after themselves and do what they can to preserve what is left of their culture and history, and for the royal family to do exactly the same. I mean, we always say, buy British, sell Britain. We love Britain for being British, and likewise should love and enjoy and respect other countries for their culture and way of life. And if you don't, then just stay home. So while we are on that particular topic, let's talk a little about Charles. I absolutely agree with an article in The Spectator that Charles is playing with fire. I know about Charles's opposition to the government's plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda. But now it appears as if Charles had entered the divisive debate and is firmly on the side of Boris Johnson's opposition. Now, there's no way you can convince me that this is not him being politically divisive or politically involved. And I'm not falling for palace officials wanting to convince us that Charles is politically neutral. As Charles is moving closer and closer to the throne, this is becoming increasingly problematic and concerning because even as a constitutional monarch, he will have royal assent as king and could refuse royal assent to policies he does not approve of and could thus provoke a constitutional crisis. The Spectator echoes my opinion in the final sentence of the article by Peter Hunt, and it reads, the risk is of an opinionated prince morphing into a meddlesome king. I truly fear for Britain with Charles as king, and you should also remember British policy changes does influence the rest of the world, just like we here at the bottom of Africa are still seeing rising fuel and food prices due to the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. None of us live in true isolation anymore. I also agree with Nigel Farage's comment claiming Prince Charles's comments represents an existential threat to the royal family. So he better shut up and very fast. Okay, it's now said that the Cambridges will move to Windsor soon, likely at the end of the school term. It is said that they will move into Adelaide Cottage for the time being, and I'm told that there are a number of reasons for this. One being that it is closer to Catherine's family and that William and Catherine feel they need that familial support as the workload increases. The other concerns schools for George and Charlotte, as William would prefer for George to be a day scholar and not to go to boarding school like he did. And lastly, I'm told that the long-term plan is for William and Catherine to take over and live in Windsor Castle once the Queen passes. Charles apparently has no intention of living in or spending much time at Windsor like his mother and father did. I believe that William and Catherine are happy with that, as Windsor Castle and estate gives them more freedoms and privacy than Kensington Palace does. I also read that there's talk of Andrew moving to Scotland, but from what I hear, Andrew would prefer to remain at the Royal Lodge. So we'll wait and see. So while all these things are happening on the royal front, old Harry is back on the polo field, man boobs and all. But it's not about Harry's physique I want to talk about. God forbid I ever become that desperate. Instead, I want to chat about all the merching going on after their visit to Britain. Now, as you know, people are coming out feeling sorry for Harry and Meghan, or policing every article, every comment. Well, like I explained in the comment section of my last video, I am indeed aware that it was Angela Levin who said that Harry is likely seeking an apology from the royal family. But what I know for a fact is that Harry and Meghan left the United Kingdom very angry at his family. I'm also told that they spent all of 20 minutes with Charles in private at Clarence House and only about 15 minutes alone with the Queen. They did not spend any time with the Cambridges and very little with anyone else in the royal family. We still don't know who attended Little Bit's birthday party, and quite frankly, I don't think anyone cares. But you see, Meghan does not like the fact that we don't give a damn about her attempt at having a birthday party at Frogmore during the Jubilee, because she wants to merge, and if we don't care, it does not bode well for her merging, does it? Now, guys, I personally do not think there was a birthday party, or if there was, it is likely that very few people actually pitched up. Maybe only the photographer and his wife, and that is if they were even there. Markle News One on Instagram made a very clever and very sharp discovery. Have a look at a photograph of Misan Hariman and his daughter at the supposed party. Now have a look at the seat he is sitting on. Now look at an article about Meghan's Toronto home. It is the exact same love seat or bench, whatever you want to call it. Now we know Meghan's personal belongings went into storage in Canada. I also believe that by the time they moved to Frogmore, they already decided that they won't stay in Frogmore and likely not even stay in the United Kingdom. So why on earth would she have shipped her stuff to Frogmore? And remember, those removal vans taking their stuff away when Beatrice and Jack moved in? So why would that particular garden bench even have come to England? And if it did, why did she leave it behind? No, no, no. I think we caught the Markleness out, and that those photographs were likely taken at her Montecito home. But guys, that's that. Now, of course, when it comes to merching, Meghan is not beyond merching poo drops, with herself sitting on a toilet. So merching a cake is one of the lesser evils, I guess. The baker of Little Bits Cake is really doing everything she can to merch and advertise the cake she supposedly made for Little Bit. Oh my word. It appears the baker, Claire Patak, of Violet Cakes is making full use of the media hype to sell herself and her cakes, because by now she has made 4 posts on Instagram of Lily's supposed cake. Poor girl. Firstly, this is not a cake for a child. It looks like a wedding cake or cake for an anniversary or something. Secondly, that piece of yellowish orange cardboard with Lily's name clashes with the pink of the cake. And thirdly, then she posts photographs of herself with loose hair working on a cake and a totally inappropriate outfit during the Jubilee. Shame. Someone should help her. I won't put my lips to anything this woman bakes. You see, because I don't like hair in my food. She really does not look like she cares a lot about being clean and or sanitary. I hear some whispers that Meghan might start a new Tig-like blog where she will put her mommy shoes on and merch children's clothing, furniture, and toys while giving advice to first-time mommies. Oh my goodness, what a disaster that will be. I guess her first piece of advice would be how to alienate and isolate your children from both sides of your family. Anyway, it is just gossip, and there is nothing to prove that it is true as yet. Anyway, guys, thank you for playing along by giving the chapters of Harry's book titles. I hope it will help him complete his project. I at least had a good laugh, a much needed one. So thank you. And so we've come to the end of another video. If possible, I'll complete the photo montage tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you all again on Wednesday. So until then, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.